So the first one is look for the positive. Everything in life has a positive side to it. No matter how negative, no matter how terrible something is, there is a positive side to it, okay? And yes, sometimes the positive is hard to look for, and because it's weak. So like, for example, if you have a negative outcome that's very negative, and the positive in that negative outcome will be very small and weak. And sometimes it's hard to look for it when it's so small. But a lot of times we are so trained and focused on the negative outcome that we never train ourselves to look for the positive thing, even though the positive is there. Okay? And remember, being positive is not about the outcome we get, it's about ability to train our brain to look for the positive. Because anytime anything happens, there will be a positive and a negative. Is your brain to train to look for the negative or the positive? Okay, so no matter how negative something is, if you train your brain to look for the positive, you will automatically look for the positive when something negative happens because your brain is trained like that. And that's why we want to train our brain to be like that. So you have to believe that everything in life has a positive side, has a negative and a positive. It's like a left cannot exist without a right. Okay, that's just not, that's something about life. So a positive cannot exist without a negative, and a negative cannot exist without a positive. It's just that we have to train ourselves to look for the positive, and there are positive. Okay, so looking for the positive is also a habit. Okay, it's not something that's given to us. We have to learn to train ourselves to look for the positive. Okay, and everything has a positive. So I will give you some example. Okay, so let's say right now I live in an apartment. Okay, and suddenly my apartment is on fire, and that is a very bad thing, right? If my apartment is on fire, then how can I live? Okay, so that is a negative thing. But if my apartment is on fire, what are the positive? Some of the positive is that if my apartment is on fire, then I have to go live with my family. Okay, and that's a positive thing. We always heard that we need to spend more time with family. Family is important. Have we always heard about that, that we need to spend more time with family? So in this case, if my apartment is on fire, I have the opportunity to go spend more time with my family, to understand them more. And isn't that a positive thing, right? We want to spend more time with family. And that is a positive thing right there. Another positive thing if my apartment is on fire is that at the end, I will have new stuff, a new apartment, a new kitchen, right? New bedroom. Isn't that a positive thing? I mean, it might not be as great as we have to, uh, maintain a lifestyle, be flexible with a lifestyle when my apartment is on fire. But there's so many positive things, okay? So you see those two positive things that I just uh, be aware of and exist. That is true. So when we train to look for those positive things, we feel better about the situation. Because if you train our brain just to focus on the negative, that okay, my apartment's on fire, this is terrible, where I'm gonna live. And the more you're focusing on it, then you are training your brain to look for that negative, and that's not what we want. Being positive is not about the outcome, but it's about the ability to look for the positive, no matter how small it is. Being positive is not about how big something is. It's not how big something positive is. It's about looking for the positive. It's about staying focusing on the positive when something happens. And that's how you will stay positive no matter what. Okay? And it's a learning trait. Okay? If you always train to look for the negative first, then most likely it's hard for you to look for the positive. Even if you have a positive outcome, sometimes we will still automatically go to a negative. Yes, we have a positive outcome, we feel good, but sometimes we just start to think about something negative from that positive outcome because we train our brain like that. So in this case, to train to look for the positive in everything, no matter how small. Being positive is not, again, it's not about how big a positive outcome is about looking for it and to train your brain that no matter what happens, the brain go to the positive automatically. Do not allow your brain to go to the negative, and we have to train our brain to do that. So in this case, to help you always look for the positive in thing is write down the positive outcome. So for example, if you have a positive outcome, then you'll write down all your positive outcome, right? That's easy. And then you want to look at the positive outcome and see how does that positive outcome help your life better? How does it improve yourself? So when you have positive outcome, it's easier. But when you have a negative outcome, you want to write down every single thing that is positive that can come out from that negative situation, okay? No matter how small it is, okay? No matter how small the positive thing is, okay? So if my apartment is on fire, yeah, that's a big thing. But I need to train my brain to look for the small positive thing in that negative outcome and write it all down and focusing on it. And the more you train your brain to write down all the positive and allow your brain to see that, then you build a habit, okay, of looking for the positive and not so much on the negative. Yes, the negative is there, but we want to train our brain to look for the positive. So in this case, every time you have a negative outcome, write down all the positive outcomes that could be. Even the smallest thing, the slightest thing you can think of that will improve your life, that will make you feel better. That is where the key is. That is where will help you to stay positive no matter what happens. And it's a practice, yes. Right now, if you never train your brain to look for those little things, then it might be hard. But the more you do it, the more the brain will automatically look for the positive when something negative happens. So in my life right now, anytime people say that's a negative thing, I can always give them something positive from that negative outcome because my brain is so trained to look for the positive that no matter what kind of negative situation you give me, I can always come up with a positive outcome for it, no matter how small. Yes, the outcome may be small, but that is the key. The key is for your brain to look for the positive and not allow your brain to stay focused on the negative, and that is the key, okay? So you wanna make sure you write down all the positive outcome, no matter how small, and that is the key right there to help you train your brain to look for the positive.